Welcome, everybody, to a Magnificent Obsession podcast where we interview people who are obsessed with their vision, their mission, their gift, their skill, whatever it is. And if this is your first time coming to this podcast, where this idea came from was back in 2003 when I first saw a street magician called David Blaine. If you don't know him, look him up. Very famous for doing many stunts and really revolutionized street magic. That got me hooked, and I became obsessed with that craft. And one of the main things, and even to this day, when I still perform here and there, is that they ask me, "How did you do that?" Okay, that's like one of the key things they ask me. How did you do that trick? And it really, I tell them it's practice. I hours and hours and hours and hours of work and practice and dedicating my time and effort to getting to that point where I can actually do that talent. So my goal here is to bring on people that have a certain skill, vision, or mission that they're obsessed about. That all they think about is that every single day it takes over their life, and it also causes them to serve others, right? So by them being obsessed with their gift, talent, skill, or vision, it gives them the ability to actually serve others with that. Our guest today is none other than Vladimir Ribakov. Is that how, did I say it properly or?
Absolutely, with the
Yeah.
right accent.
I know you're in Canada, but where specifically are you again?
I'm in Stouffville.
Oh, Stouffville.
Yep, beautiful
Okay,
place.
awesome. Not too far from me actually. I'm in Hamilton, Ontario. So he has an academy where he teaches people how to trade, and obviously, I'm gonna get into that and ask him about his journey and everything like that. So, yeah, thank you, Vladimir, for coming on, man.
And thank you for
Pleasure to have
having me
you.
here. Big honor. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man. So I want to start off with something cool. This is what I do actually at my performances. Okay, so hold out your hands like this. Okay, like go back so I can see a little bit. Okay. Okay, now turn your hands over. Okay, now if you're listening to this, basically I'm telling Vladimir to hold out his hands stretched out wide and then turning like you're like about to hug somebody. And then essentially I'm telling him to turn his palms facing out. Okay, now he's gonna bring the two back of his hands together. Okay, like in the middle. Okay, now right hand, put it over your left hand. Okay, now I want you to lock both fingers in. Okay, yeah, now make sure you raise your arms a little bit higher, a little bit. Okay, yeah. Now on the count of three, I want you to, oh yeah, raise it. Yeah, okay, like that. Yeah, that's good. Okay, now on the count of three, I want you to follow me. Okay, just don't let go, but follow me. 1, 2, 3.
No way.
You couldn't do it.
No, I can't. Brilliant.
See, you got stuck, right?
I'll have to
So
work on that.
you have to work. So that was actually an illusion. Okay, that's something I'm gonna do every on the podcast too. If you guys are watching, so definitely if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe so you could actually see that. But that was special for Vladimir there.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. Vladimir, I want to start off with your journey, man. Like, tell us, like, just share with the audience maybe where you grew up, just like personal life, and just take us through that entrepreneurial journey to basically what got you into where you're at right now.
I was born in Belarus. My parents, when I was a kid, about 8 years old, we moved to Israel because of the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. Very sure you heard about that in this area, and we were affected. So my parents moved to Israel. I was growing up there, and 5+ years ago, we moved to Canada.
So you've been in Israel for most of your life, basically. What did your parents do, like, in terms of like profession? Like, what did they do?
They both were engineers. So for them, this move was not as smooth as maybe wanted or expected or dreamt about. So they had to change their professions there in Israel, unfortunately. But yeah, you know what? I followed their path. They did what best for us. We were trying to do the same for our kids, me and my wife. So that's why we ended up in Canada.
Okay, nice, man, nice. So having that engineer background, like, did that kind of affect you in terms of like that mindset of like where you're at right now with like the trading and everything?
You
Like,
know
did
what?
that kind of influence
I
you?
never thought about it. Maybe. My parents
Yeah.
are very, Russian education was very strict and, study and very good in math, numbers, and all that. Were trying to give it to me the same way. They were not strict. Sounds like they were. Now they were
Yeah.
very, very, very friendly. But the education and the discipline level and everything, the commitment from myself to my success, it's something I got from them. And I never thought about this part, but
Yeah.
maybe their mathematical brains is something that got it into me, maybe.
Got into you. Okay, awesome, awesome. And what did you do in Israel? Did you go to school for anything?
I started my university degree, which I left after half a year. I never finished, so I don't know if I should be proud of that or not. But I found my route to success. So yes, I'm kind of proud of that.
Look at all these, Bill Gates. They all went to like these Ivy League schools, but they dropped out, right? I think even Mark Zuckerberg. I don't think he finished Harvard or something.
That's definitely not the only way to be successful at something. There is always another way. I went to university to learn about the trading world. I was very disappointed that economy studies and all these financial presentations and lectures, they teach nothing
Mhm.
about trading. So I say, you know what? I'm wasting my time here. Adios. So,
Let me ask you a question. This kind of different. Like, what was some of the challenges that you kind of went through as a kid or growing up? Maybe it did or didn't motivate you to start your path. Because some people see you where you are right now, and they're like, "Oh man, Vladimir, maybe he was born rich or something," or they don't hear the backstory.
wow, there are so many different challenges. Moving from Russia to Israel back then was a challenge by itself. I remember all the racist. As a kid, you always are trying to be part of community. Unfortunately for me, it wasn't as easy. So this part is stuck in my mind always, like to have a supportive community regardless
Mhm.
of all the background. I didn't plan to have it in the trading world, but I
Right.
always wanted to have this group with like-minded people that simply would support each other. If I can say that. Then again, growing in a country that is surrounded by hate from
Mm.
pretty much everywhere. it's
That's crazy, man.
but it's political. I don't want to enter
It's
there. But I have no problems with hate from outside. My main thing was the hate inside, and when the hate is start to be inside and grow inside, it starts to affect. At some point, I lost my tolerance to that. That was the moment that I said, it's I'm moving forward in my life. If people would know to live there peacefully, it would be like, I don't know, Switzerland. But unfortunately, that's not the case. And as much as I love the place and the majority of my life I spent there, I did the same like my parents did. I moved on and try and provide better for my kids.
Yeah, well, hey man, I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right? So within that time frame, so I mean, if it was only 5 years ago, I was reading in your bio that you started 12 years ago, right? So that means you must
More.
have started the more than that, yeah. So when did this obsession start? Like, because I know there was that challenge within Israel, right? Internally,
It was
and
challenge.
and then somehow you broke through that challenge and you still were able to pursue this current, I guess, obsession or career of yours.
Since I was a kid, at least that's what my parents told me always. I always told them I'm gonna be millionaire.
Okay, yeah.
They were asking like how. I said I don't know. I'll figure out. So that was always my answer. Now, as a kid, you say a lot of things that who cares about, right? But apparently, I was serious about it, and I always wanted not to go through the normal path or route. I was always looking for alternatives. So I started my luck when I was still a teenager in multi-level marketing.
Okay, nice.
Yep, that's what I was thinking. It will be nice, but it turned to be more challenging, I would say, and a lot of stories about it, pyramid and scams and so on and so on. So happened to me. But the good thing is, one of the guys that introduced me to multi-level marketing, he was the first one to open all the lectures and live seminars in Israel. And then when,
Okay.
when I attended to the first one, I simply fall in love in the world of trading almost instantly. It was like
What year was that? What year was that approximately?
2004, 5.
Okay, so that's when you saw the light. You're like, whoa, this is
Yes, yes, yes.
this
And
is
then
it.
in 2006, I already started working in the industry for some brokers.
Okay.
And that's it. And since this moment, I was so much into that. Like it became an obsession, as you said, right? It's I didn't plan that. I didn't even think about it when I started with the multi-level marketing. But at the moment I was introduced to that, it was like that's it. That's my thing. Day after day, the more I dig into this world of trading and the human psychology behind all that, I understand that this is my place and this is where I can become finally someone good at something. That's how my journey started. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, were you doing that part-time or was it just just like a full-time thing when you first started?
Well, for me, it was easier because I was in the industry. I was working
Oh,
for
right. Oh,
broker.
you were working for a broker. Okay, yeah, 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 that's right.
So trading was very accessible for me. So I could do it whenever I want. Again, the beginning, unfortunately, was a challenge. I'm very happy I never gave up. That's one thing to say. I'm not a person that gives up. It's out of my vocabulary, giving up.
Vocabulary, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I ask is because there's some people that, they have a dream, they have a vision, or they have a gift, but they just don't know how to get started, right? So they think like, oh, especially me, like, I have a family, I have two kids. I know you have a family. How many kids you got?
Two kids also. Yeah.
No, two kids as well. Okay, awesome, man. How old are they?
10 and 7.
10 and 7. Okay, amazing. Mine are 10 and 4. So it's kind of close. Yeah,
Kind of
man, we should meet, man. So I guess for some people that are here, entrepreneurs that are listening to this, they're like, well, I want to become successful, or I want to follow my vision, my dream, my goal, but I just don't know how to get started. Should I quit my full-time job, or should I, like, they're looking for that answer of like how, right? What would be your suggestion?
You know what? There is no one certain answer to that, because you will hear stories about successful people that left the jobs in order to chase their dream in whatever the price is, and they managed to do it. But unfortunately, we will never hear about those who failed on the way, and they are the majority. I belong to the category of people that I don't think you should give up on your, especially when you, as you say, you have family, you have responsibilities. You should never give up on that just to chase your dream, because there are more important things than a dream in life, and that's the responsibility to family, for example. And I don't think that go all in on your very first hand is a smart idea. If we speak about the poker world, definitely start moving. Once you manage to prove that there is something could become realistic, if it's the income, or if it's clients, or if it's some sort of flow to the success, then it's a moment to consider, of course, changing the careers. But just because you had a dream to leave everything and chase this dream, I think this is a fantasy. And
Right,
it's a
right, right.
very, very, very thin border between the fantasy and a dream that you want to chase, right?
Hmm.
So from my point of view, personally, no, never give up on what you have, the good things you have in hand, just because you want something else. Prove you can do it first.
That's a good point, because there's some people that will, like you were saying earlier, that see those success stories of people that have quit their job, or and then went all in on the first hand, you said, and they made it, but like you don't see the back end of all those other people that failed, right? So you'll hear about the one success. It's just like hearing about a gambling story where I went to Vegas or Niagara Falls or something and won a bunch of money, but you don't know how much they lost before, right? Or something like
Absolutely.
that, right? And I think, like you said too, even though you don't have to go all in, you could start on the side, right? Like, or just like one step. Let's say for your doing, which I'm going to ask in a second, is how to get started. Maybe it's just like, opening up a free trading account or something like that. Start studying it every day, kind of thing. And then eventually, like you said, there's proof that, okay, this works. Because I actually was listening to Damon John the other day, the owner of Fubu, who's on Shark Tank. And he said before he launched his brand, he created a few shirts, went to a stadium, and then started seeing if like people would buy his clothes. And then they did. He wanted to test the market to see if people would actually buy it, right? Yeah, I think there's a huge value in that. Like, where test what your idea you have, because everybody has a $1 billion idea, I think. It's just you gotta see if it actually makes sense and it works, right?
You know what? Maybe it's smart to say idea is what gives you motivation. Motivation is what gets you going.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like date one with the person you like. After it becomes date 5 or date 10, it's not as exciting as it was date 1. And it's normal. Same with the business. Your idea is absolutely amazing today and you get all the inner fire and everything. But after a couple of weeks or couple of months, this fire, every motivation, it becomes like a habit. And at the moment it becomes a habit, that's where people fail, because they are not prepared to do the same things over and over just because it has to be done. They think this inner fire is something that has to be there always. And the answer is no. So it's important to see the big picture and to understand like all the steps that are awaiting you as you progress forward, and not just fall in love with the idea without understanding where are you going.
So, Vladimir, what's that big picture for you that kept you doing those steps every single day? What's that vision? I mean, if you want to share it, because I know there's some books out there that say don't share your dreams and goals.
There is one quote of mine, by the way. I always say dreams do come true if you tell them to the right people. So don't hide these dreams. It's smart to share them. If it reaches the correct ears and the correct person, it might be even help. My dream was always the freedom. It's not never about the money for me. It was always about the freedom to do what I want, regardless of any commitments, time, zone, location, or anything like that. And also to be there mainly to enjoy my kids as they grow, because my parents were working so hard all my old childhood. This was one part I was missing growing up, to spend more time with them. So for me, it was sort of a personal promise and personal commitment that I'll be there for my kids as much as I can. Of course, every day is different story. For me, to be there every single day, to see them in the morning and the afternoon, and be with them in the evening, it's the biggest gift I could wish for. That was always my drive. That was always my
Okay.
motivation. At some point, again, you have a vision, you have dream, and it changes. It upgrades as you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, exactly.
I started to create success stories, and this became my obsession. It was trading at first, and then when I became good in trading and it became my living, then creating the next generation of traders became my obsession. Like the next leaders, the next people
Mm.
in the industry. And I don't know why, but when my first success story happened, like it felt so good. You know, this gratitude, the feedback you receive, and all the love you receive. This is how it became my obsession, to create more success stories among my members, the traders, and see them becoming traders by themselves. It's a gift. I am thankful for this opportunity to affect life.
That's huge, man. Share with us what that first success story was, man. Like, what was that? What was the result that made you so happy with that guy? Is there numbers you can share, like if you can disclose, or
Well,
people?
it was not specifically about numbers with the first student. It was mainly to work. He was trying to apply to work for a private hedge fund,
Okay.
and he managed to do it. So he passed
Okay,
all their
nice.
exams, and he became, well, I didn't talk to him, to be honest, in the last year or more, but he became one of their leading traders
Oh,
in this
wow.
hedge
Okay.
fund company. When I think about it, and he keeps telling that's the man that started my journey, and you know what, it
Mm,
feels
okay.
amazing.
Because you know the impact that it had on his life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
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 he
and whoever.
acknowledged it, and that's the main feeling. He goes back in all these years and he says it's because of Vladimir. It feels amazing.
Yeah, and that's just like what I said in the beginning, when you're obsessed with, what you're doing and creating more success stories, it allows you to impact a lot of people in their lives, right? I think that's huge. Because when we kind of hold that back and we're saying like maybe there's no chance, or maybe it is just a dream or a fantasy, and you don't do anything about it, even one step, like you hold back the lives that you could have changed. Like imagine, I'm sure there's been times, Vladimir, like, am I doing the right thing here? Like,
Absolutely.
was there a time where you considered changing, or that never happened? Where you're like, man, am I doing the right thing? Should I turn the other way? Or was it always like, you know what, I'm in it to win it all the way to the end?
It was not only one time. It happens, I wouldn't say often, but it happens once in a while. You always start to question yourself, especially in trading world, because many people have wrong expectation and wrong imagination about trading. They think you trade, you make money, and it's like a guaranteed thing. No, in trading, it's a jungle. It's you against other sharks who are trying to do the same like you do. Take your money. It's a zero-sum game. There is no money out of nowhere. So it's you against others. It's important to say the truth. So there are a lot of challenges on the way, especially when you put so much effort and everything to create in a brand and give my best to students. And when you see the student not giving their own best, and you're stuck in some point, there are a lot of these moments that you're asking yourself, am I doing the right thing? Why should I bother to do that? Like, I mean, I can focus only on trading, and so on and so on. But as I said, giving up, it's out of my vocabulary. Challenge for me, it's something that I have to find a way to solve. And I think it was Eisenhower who said, pessimism never won any battle, not in a time of peace and not in time of war. And these hard moments, I treat them as like some psychological obstacles. They try to push me down. I'm taking it and I battle that and I pull myself up. Never, ever I waste time on pessimism and negativity thing. And every time I face it, I take some time off. It could be an hour, it could be a day. I shake it, and the day after
You're
to
back
find a
again.
solution for that.
Yeah, okay, you find a solution. Okay. Now, are you doing this alone, or like to pursue your vision, or do you have a team?
The trading part was alone. The business part, no, it was a team. I have amazing partners, and one thing I can say guaranteed: never chase your dream alone. Find people to do
Mm.
it together with. It's absolutely different. Not that it cannot be done alone, but it would save a lot of time, hassles, headaches, and so on when you do it with the right people next to you. That's from the bottom of my heart. Do it with people that you really feel comfortable with and feel comfortable with you.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people have this idea like where they could be like a digital nomad and just kind of, accomplish a vision or a dream by themselves. But like one thing I realized too is I learned from The Law of Success in 16 Lessons by Napoleon Hill. He was saying that one of the key principles, the first ones was the law of the mastermind. People that are aligned with your vision. And it starts with your immediate family or somebody that's close to you, like let's say your wife or your business partner or whoever it is that's on with you with this vision. And in the spirit of perfect harmony, it creates almost like a secondary mind where 2 + 1 + 1 = 3, right?
Absolutely.
So do you feel that synergistic effect that happens once you've created, like when you started that, I guess, that team or that mastermind?
100%. It doesn't mean there will be no challenges or disagreements. There will.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But always important to stop, remember the big picture, and come back to find a way.
There's been times probably where you guys butted heads, right?
It's part every relationships will have that. Between every people, there will be disagreements. And once you face them, it's in your hands to look, fighting and arguing never solve a problem. Never. So find a way to calm down, relax, talk about the things without emotions, without nerves. And that's the only way to find solution. Once you find a solution, it feels amazing and you reach new highs.
Okay, that's awesome, man. Yeah, because if you do this by yourself, like it's really hard. It's a tough journey, especially on those times where it's very challenging. And some people think like, oh, how can I trust somebody? I guess that was one of my challenges. Like, who can I trust to be part of my team, right? And I think it's trial and error, right? Like you'll find somebody that you mesh with, and then sometimes you part ways. And I think everybody has a time frame in your life to be there. And some people will be there for life. Some people will be there just for part of your journey, and then you move on, and you both move on, right? But I think, and overall though, like it goes back to that vision, that idea or dream, or that gift that you have that you want to share with the world. As long as I think you express it, you will attract that team. I see that with you, Vladimir, because you started from the kid when I'm going to be a millionaire, so that was your desire, and then one thing led to the next, and then now you have people part of that vision, and now you have a whole community. Maybe share with me like now what it's grown to, like your community, what you're working on now, and where you're going with it.
Sure. Well, yeah, it's after all this time, as I told you, my obsession became to create the next success stories, to create more leaders. And that's why I created my trading club. So that's where my main focus day after day is going. It's to share my trading and my knowledge in real time with the members of the club. Where are we going? That's always that's a great question. My new obsession became to create trading solutions, something that will save time and help to reach the freedom,
Right.
not only financial, but also about everything, like the time you have to put in work. So I create these solutions that will simplify the process for people, and ideally to end up in the world of automated trading.
Okay, wow.
I don't believe in 100% optimization, but I definitely believe in 99% optimization. So it's automated solutions controlled by a human being. I definitely believe in that. I put a lot of my time and focus in this direction. So
is there something that's out there like this right now, where somebody's like that you've modeled after in terms of like a solution like this, or is this something that's hasn't been done really, or it's a problem that hasn't been solved yet?
Definitely has been solved, because a lot of institutions, they develop these automatic algorithms, and now they do all the artificial intelligence in trading world and so on. But these guys have billions to invest. I don't.
Right.
So
Okay, got it. Yeah.
I'm not a billionaire like them. So for me, it's always me and my team, my programmers and the traders in my group. We brainstorm, we bring on the ideas. It's longer, but on the other hand, it's much more satisfying, because you really experience all the struggles on the way, and you really learn to live with them, and you understand how to win this battle, and
Yeah.
how to think out of the box in order to find a solution. So it's an amazing experience. It's very, very, very challenging. And in times, as you said, you ask yourself, why do I need it? Why do I bring it on myself? I'm in the age that I can just retire and like, okay, you know what? Let's enjoy life.
Yeah.
But at some point, once an entrepreneur, always an entrepreneur, and it's always in my blood to create this something, just an obsession. People that don't live this obsession would never be able to understand.
They don't get it. Yeah.
No. But I do believe that every person can find some sort of obsession with some, in a positive way, not in a negative way.
Yeah.
There is an inner fire in every single one of us, and the best way to see that is look at the kids. Each of them is world by itself. Each of them have dreams, the inner fire, this crazy ambition. And then when they grow, our life and society is so built up to turn off all our dreams and ambition, and we just become pawns in the big chessboard. But we will not let life and everything happen around to turn off our inner fire. Everyone has different obsession. I definitely believe everyone can find something to contribute to others. Absolutely.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad that you see that too, and I'm glad that you're on this podcast, man. This is was great. You provided so much value here. I think everybody that's listening can get something out of Vladimir's journey. One of the last things I want to ask, if you wanted to leave something to this world as a message, I mean, I know you kind of already said it pretty much, but if you could give, let's say, like advice, let's just say you knew next year or tomorrow you're gonna leave the planet or something like that, or what kind of advice would you give, like, people here on Earth as parting words?
It was Mahatma Gandhi, I think, who said happiness is when you think what you do and what you say is an absolute harmony. And it's within our hands to find this harmony. What you think, what you do, and what you present has to be in the same place. Once you reach that, you will be a very happy person. To reach this level, you have to go through a lot of struggles. It's a journey to find your place in the world, and it's a long journey to understand how you can contribute to others. But from my personal journey, nerves and emotions and negative thoughts never help to solve any issue, any problem. Whatever the problem you face, smile to that, shake your hands, shake yourself, take a 1 hour break, take a day break, take a week break, come back to that with refreshed energies and a refreshed mindset to find a solution. Never attempt to solve, especially your own issues when you are angry or where you are in your own discomfort zone. It's a recipe for failure. And that's not, I'm saying that's many smart people, smarter than myself, said, you want to change the world, start with yourself. I never understood it in the past, absolutely understand it nowadays. You want to change your own world, the surrounding around you and everything, how it goes back to you, starts with yourself. Because what you present and the way you behave and the way you think, the way you live your day by day, that's what goes outside. And the way it goes outside, it goes back inside. So it starts with you, and it's important to understand it. Negative and pessimism never, ever win.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Well, I don't want to say much more. Mr. Vladimir Ribakov, hashtag smiles. All smiles. I love it. I don't see any ounce of negativity in you, man. So that's amazing.
Thank you
You
very
live
much.
what you live what you speak. So, and having that harmony, like you said. So that's amazing, man. Well, how can we find you? Where can we find out about your academy? What way we can get in touch with you or find out more about what your obsession is?
VladimirRibakov.com. That's my blog. That's where I upload my trading content on a daily basis. And my academy, where I go over my trading and show what I do, speak what I do on day after day. It's TradersAcademyClub.com. That's my two projects, my life projects, which I'm proud of.
Okay, amazing. Well, Vladimir, hey, pleasure to have you on this Magnificent
Thank you very much,
Obsession
Jordan.
podcast. Hope you enjoyed it and hope everybody here enjoyed it as well. Yeah, we look forward to seeing you on the next podcast. Remember to subscribe if you're on YouTube or subscribe to this podcast. And we look to have many more guests just as amazing as Vladimir so that you guys could maybe discover your obsession or at least unleash that and share that with the world so that you can serve more people and impact more people in this world. So thank you once again, Vladimir.
Big honor to be here, and I hope best for you and yours and everyone of your listeners. Thanks for the time.
You're welcome. Take care.